Hey, Piper. Just thought I'd stop in real quick and um, have a little chat or ramble, or we'll try to keep it brief. But of course, every time I say that, it winds up running a full 15 minutes. But I could run. Mine's set up to run more than 15 minutes. I went through the steps with YouTube, but my God, I don't know how long it'll take it to download, because sometimes, 15 minutes when there's no rhyme or reason. I've seen them download in as little as 25 minutes and take as much as 90. So I don't know what the difference is. On the average, you're looking at about 45 minutes. But anyhow, I am smoking some Christmas cookie tonight, gifted to me by toy maker Larry, and I'm gonna tell you, it is a very well received blend here in my household with these females, two females I live with, my wife and daughter. They love it, and I like it too. It's got a good taste, good room note, good. Excuse me, I'm smoking Cupcake. They both of them. The Cupcake is what I'm smoking tonight. They both love both of them. Both of them are big hits. And the one I smoked yesterday, the Morning View. I mean, it's all those aromatics that Larry and Dave sent. They have been a hit here. So anyway, I was searching, trying to find, or looking around, trying to decide which pipe I was going to smoke. I was going to go back and smoke one that I hadn't. Cammy, quit that. Dang, I'm going to get them claw things and take her to the vet and have those claw covers put on her. But we love the old cat. But she does get to sharpening her claws, and at least she's doing it on the carpet, not the furniture, but that can be just as bad. But anyway, I was going to go back and smoke a pipe that I hadn't smoked on video in a while, and I can't never remember, and I have to kind of look at the videos. But this is one I know I hadn't smoked. It's a little Savinelli, and from their Orient line, and I bought this pipe in Virginia, outside of Washington D.C. last November before last, when I went for the hernia surgery in Baltimore, and love the stem on it. Stem's what caught my eye. Well, the color, and they're an orange-looking color, but they do. They kind of tone, not sort of the oils in your hand and the smoke will cause it to change color a little bit. And I was a little disappointed, like I said in some videos before. But it's like I seen somebody online in a forum say about this pipe. It just gives it its own unique character because they all tone up a little different. Now, this is not a meerschaum, it's a briar. But and it's a brandy shape. I'm not sure which shape, which number shape in Savinelli's lineup, but I do know it is a brandy. So let's get her fired up here. This Cupcake is so there. The room note is it's powerful on it. And I stuck the pipe in my mouth while I was getting the computer ready, and I could already taste the flavor through the stem. Hadn't even been lit up. Love this stuff. Yeah, and Christmas cookie and Piper's Pleasure, man, I have enjoyed both English blends they sent to Northwoods, and I can't think of the blue. Remember what the one from Strauss, the other one, I can't think of the name of it. It's good too. There's not a blend in the bunch of either one of them that they were told maker Larry sent that I don't like. Really been enjoying Guy Witherspoon's series. He did one last week on tell you what, this week's is on Dunhill. I'm going to try to get him to do another one next week, because there's several of us have really enjoyed the series. His wife Deb showed her beehives yesterday. She collects beehives, and they had a live mail delivery on one of those videos, and I told him, I said, well, maybe the guy's always trying to get Miss Debbie to make a brief cameo appearance on the. One day she did, and I said, well, I told him in a comment, I said, well, Guy, maybe she can co-host the Guy Witherspoon show with you one day. So. It's cold here. It's down in the 20s. I'm not sure. I hadn't looked lately, but I'm going to say 27, 28. And tomorrow the high is going to be 33 or 4. I tell you, old man Winter, he stuck his head out here across this country this year. And the South had gotten kind of used to milder winters. We're having them like we used to have back when I was a kid and a young adult, a young man in my 20s. I mean, the last really cold winter I remember we had here was 83. We had a lot of ice that year. We had some days that the chill factor was 0, or 1 or 2 days it was a couple of degrees below 0. And that was the days I was in the Texaco station business, the full serve business, and we had both full and self-serve islands then. Well, you can imagine that self-serve island was totally vacant. We had them lined up at the full serve island. It was so cold. The water was freezing on the windshield. We wasn't washing any windshield. All we were doing was pumping gas and checking oil and checking antifreeze. That's all we had time to do. We would go 2 at a time out. 2 or 3 would stay inside. We kept rotating. And so we would go out in pairs of 2, where there was always 2 inside warming up. You could not stay. And we were on that station. That particular location was located on US 165 north out of Monroe, and that wind coming down that highway, that 4-lane highway, was tough. But those were the days back in the old service station days. That's I've told y'all my dad worked for Stuckey's a good bit when I was a kid, and of course, like I said, we managed to see a lot of the country because we would go with him in the summer when school was out. And Lord stayed the summer in Oklahoma, Kansas, 2 or 3 times in Texas, Wisconsin, Kentucky. He built a Lums in Kentucky. Lums, Delicatessen, built a couple of Lums up in there. Lord, I'm trying to think. Of course, he built them in Colorado. Went to Arizona twice. Stayed in Arizona one full summer, and then went one time for about 3 weeks with him. And I'm trying to think. One in South Louisiana, and just there's some more I'm missing, and Lord, I can't remember. Lord, he did them in Nebraska, Colorado, Iowa, Pennsylvania. I mean, he in the last 3 or 4 years, he went to work with them. Before that, he was a self-employed contractor. Went to work with them as their director of development, and he flew into Monroe every Friday, spent the weekend, and fly out to Eastman, Georgia, where their headquarters was. And they sold, at that time, Pet Milk owned Stuckey's. Well, they sold out to Illinois Central Railroad, and IC started surplusing off those Stuckey's. It was worth more to them to raid the company, and that's what they did. And of course, they offered him a job. Their corporate headquarters was in Chicago. Pet Milks was in St. Louis, and they offered him a job to stay with the Pet Milk as their director of development over their operations. But we would have had to move to St. Louis, so he decided to stay here, and he bought a Texaco station in town, the little state. Well, it was a big 4-bay station, and but it wasn't doing but about 25,000 gallons a month. And a little bit of service work. It was on the north side of Monroe, which a real ritzy part of town. A lot of money, a lot of old money there. And within 3 years, he became Texaco's #1 dealer in this region, and he brought it from 25,000 to up into 80,000 gallons, and just the service work, oil changes, repairs. He bought a wrecker. He got heavy into the tire business, which is what he evolved into. He's in the tire business now. Been out of the station business for years and years, but that Texaco station, he had 23 employees. That's what it took to maintain that thing. It was just crazy. So when I got 18, I went out on 165 and bought that little one. It was a little 2-bay, 2-pump island deal. We got really heavy into the U-Haul rentals and I bought a tow truck, a wrecker, and we did some service work. We were pumping about 45,000, about half of what Daddy was pumping, and pretty good little station. And then he and I went out on in the Lakeshore section of town and bought a little 2-bay, little 1-island station. They never could keep an operator in it. About every 8 or 9 months, it was going out of business and changing hands. And we put a manager out there and ran it. We kept it about 6 years. It was a good little money maker. And then my brother and I, he stayed about 6 months, and I bought him out. We bought a 3-bay down on 165 south of where the other one was, and it never did do real good. I kept it about 18 months, and then from there just kind of evolved into the C-store business. I bought a little Shell convenience store and sold it, and got into the Exxon, and then I had one along with it that had FINA branded. Got out of it, and the last one was Chevron branded. But back in the old full serve days, like I say, we used to pump the gas, and wipe windshields, and change oil, and sell tires, fix flats, did road service, had a service truck, and that was one of the things. And I did it at my stations, but didn't do as much of it. But up on the ritzy part of town where Daddy's station was, we'd have old ladies call us to come down to their houses and change them old widow women to change bulbs in their ceiling. We'd literally send a man out to change a light bulb in a house. And one of the things we would always take them old ladies' homes and bring their cars back for washing or service or whatever. We'd always take their groceries in. Whoever delivered them. When I was a teenager, that was my job, was delivering cars. It was a full-time job, pick up and delivery. I always took packages in and read that. Them old ladies, they thought we were the stuff, and there's just no places like that anymore. And I still think there's a market a need for that. Of course, your full serve island needs to be about 35 cents a gallon higher than the self-serve to justify keeping attendants out there to change, check the oil in the tire, air in the tires, wipe windshields, and that kind of stuff. So, if gas as high as it is now, I don't know if that would justify or not, but you need a good, strong, full serve island. And it needs to be 30, 35 cents a gallon difference in order to make a few dollars off of it. But to pay an attendant, like I say, to be out there. Now, if gasoline would get down to a couple of dollars a gallon, then I think people would, if it was $2 a gallon, I think they'd pay $2.35, especially the older people and people, women and whatnot, and even men that didn't want to get out of the car. And you see low tires now. You pull up, they check your tires, they wipe your windshield, and we always had all the people were in uniform, and they looked presentable. They had Texaco caps on, Texaco uniforms. All the shelves were full and fronted, and the labels. It was, when you walked in, it looked nice with tire displays and battery displays. Now my dad, of course, he was never as a stickler as I was for a clean station, but mine, man, I kept them shining. You could see them coming for a mile off. But anyway, I've sat here and rambled about the old days, and I'm going to dig out some pictures in the next few days, and of some of them old stations and some of the convenience stores too, and show y'all. And I am going to do a video at K&D at our little barbecue place. I may go up one Monday and do that, and get that on there. Look, I'm running out of time. Y'all have a good one. Take care, and God bless.